Hello again. When a woman was shot dead in the United States by a federal immigration officer, just a mile from where George Floyd died 5.5 years ago, it was obvious that the incident would be blown up out of all proportion. There are, of course, similarities to the two cases, and in each of those incidents, responsibility for the deaths lie firmly with those who died. Let me explain. When a law enforcement agent with a gun tells you to do something, whether it is turning off your car's engine and getting out of the vehicle, or perhaps sitting quietly in the back of a police car, the only sensible action is to comply immediately with the instructions. If instead you choose to put your foot on the accelerator and drive straight at another armed officer, or rather than sit in the back of the police car, start trying to escape, then events are likely to spiral out of control with unpleasant and possibly lethal consequences. So it proved in the case of George Floyd, and so too with Renee Nicole Good. I might mention that I have had brushes in the past with various police forces, including the Turkish Gendarme, the RUC, and the Syrian Security Police. In each case, when it was clear that these men were irritated with me, I immediately complied with every instruction and raised my hands like this to show that I was unarmed and not trying to start a row with them. All three of these forces had in the 1970s unenviable reputations for shooting people out of hand. So it is that when I watched that video of the shooting of the woman in Minneapolis, I could see the problem at once, and it didn't lie with the federal officers. Renee Nicole Good was maneuvering her car around as she had been for much of the day to try and block the vehicles of those federal officers and obstruct their work. One of them approached her and told her to get out of the car. At the same time, another officer was in front of her car. Instead of getting out of the vehicle as she was asked to do, she hit the accelerator and drove straight toward another armed officer, who, seeing the car heading straight at him, fired through the windscreen. Seriously, what did people think was likely to happen in those circumstances? This is exactly the same kind of thing which has led to a number of deaths in the past, particularly in the United States. So perhaps I could offer some advice to people who are approached by armed law enforcement officers anywhere in the world. If an officer says, "Get out of your car," do so at once while keeping both your hands visible. If you are on foot and an officer says, "Stop," then stop. If an officer says, "You're under arrest," and tries to put you in the back of a police car, do not then try and wriggle out or escape through the other door. Be polite at all times, show your hands like this, so there are no possible grounds for misunderstanding. Do not shout, swear, run, or spit at anybody. Follow these simple rules, and you should survive an encounter with even the most brutal and trigger-happy police or paramilitary forces. As I say, those guidelines have stood me in good stead since 1972, and I have so far survived.